going on, people? Hope y'all doing fantastic. So I just thought I'd make this video while it's on my mind. Ain't much to look at. It's dark, and you might see some reflection. You'll see me when the light reflects and stuff like that, but you can just listen. So my opinion on the current state of the trucking economy and where we're headed. So in my opinion, it's not looking good. And the reason why I say that is there was a list that came out that I saw. There was probably almost a dozen stores on this list, and retail stores, and they are either going bankrupt, going out of business, or they are closing a number of stores. I think it was Payless was closing 1,000 stores. They're in bankruptcy. JCPenney's was on the list. Radio Shack was on the list. H.H. Gregg was on the list. Pretty much big box stores. They're the downsized, they're going out of business or something like that. So obviously, that's saying that people are not buying like they used to. Maybe they don't have the disposable income like they used to, so they're not buying things basically to keep the stores, the doors of the stores open like they used to. Then you look at shopping malls. Shopping malls are half empty, depending on your area. I mean, if you live in a robust area, like probably like New York City or somewhere up like that. But, just your common shopping mall has a bunch of empty stores. At least the ones, the reports that I'm seeing, has a bunch of empty stores. Then you also have, these strip centers are running at about a 50% occupancy. That means, out of all the stores, only half of them are being rented. So, I mean, that is just like a sign to where, it's like, where are we going with this? So that's just one aspect. People are not buying like they used to. Let's say pre-2008, or let's say pre-2001. The terrorist attack, allegedly, the Twin Towers and things like that. Also, container freight, or just imported freight coming in through the ports. I know Trump was talking about putting a 30% tariff on imported freight if there's not some kind of exchange agreement or something like that. Like, I'm not well versed in this area, but it's enough for me. It was enough to get my attention to where I stick up my head and like, what? So let's say that he puts a tax, a 30% tax on this freight, incoming freight that's coming in from, these other countries and so on and so forth. Well, that's going to trickle down to, as a business owner, that's going to trickle down to the consumer, because they're going to jack their prices up if they have to continue importing freight. That's going to continue to jack the prices up for, another 30% on whatever the price is already. So, are people going to pay that price for this particular product, or are they going to stop buying, this particular product, whatever it is, a widget, or there's a lot of food that comes into the ports. I don't know if you haul the truckers that watch my videos. There's a lot of bananas and oranges. I don't know about oranges, bananas and citrus that comes in, and like pineapples and avocados and stuff that has a longer growing season from other countries that get imported in. So those tomatoes that that you get in the wintertime from the store that don't have any flavor. I'm just using that as an example. So what's that going to do to container freight if these people say, nah, we ain't paying another extra 30%. Food's already sky high the way it is. We're not doing that. So what's that going to do to container freight? And it's not just, food like that, but other imports that come in from other countries, like these stores that are going out of business or downsizing or whatever. I'm sure most of their inventory is sourced from overseas somewhere. So I mean, this is just something to think about. So where do we go from here? So this is one of the reasons why not just me, but other people that we think alike, we recommend that you do not go out and get yourself into a bunch of debt, with equipment, because what if they say, okay, well, container, we're done, we're going on strike, we're not doing this anymore, or whatever, okay. Now, if you have a big payment, you're going to be scrounging around to find work. Now this is in the reefer dry van area, space. I don't know about other industries. But you're going to be scrounging around to find work. So if you had something that's inexpensive equipment, and you could pay that equipment off as fast as you can, it may not be as pretty as a newer piece of equipment. It may rattle or whatever, but you know what? It could be paid off, and you wouldn't necessarily have to stress yourself out about making that payment every week or every month or whatever. Now this is just an example, so take it however you want it. So that's one aspect of it. Because what I think is going to happen is there's going to be, now let's say this crash takes place, whether it's, this year, next couple years, whatever, is there going to be freight? Yeah, I think there's going to be freight, but people that put themselves into a position where they are what's called highly leveraged, they're going to be taking the freight, even though it won't even cover their costs. They're going to take the freight just so they can make some money and, keep their equipment. Now, again, I'm not an economist. I'm just, once you're out here for a while, you kind of see how things are going. With these guys that eat up this 80, 90 cents a mile just to, get out of a bad area. And, well, I don't want to go there. But just something to think about. And I want to say something right now, that it's not my intent to. It's going to sound jacked up what I'm about to say, but it's just the facts. These companies right now, the trucking companies, not all of them, but most of them, most of the ads that you see, they're talking about, okay, $1,000 a week gross. Whether you're local, whether you're running over the road, so on and so forth. We were making $1,000 a month. $1,000 a week. I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, when the cost of living was cheaper. Food was cheaper. Gas was, it's probably about the same as it is now. But the overall cost of living was cheaper. So I know it sounds good that, okay, $1,000 a week right now in 2017, but with the inflation, that $1,000 doesn't buy you $1,000 worth of stuff. Necessities, goods and services and stuff like that, as opposed to, let's say, 10 years ago. So that $1,000 is essentially like $600. Now this is just rough numbers, if somebody has better information on that, please let me know. I'm open for dialogue, but this is just some of the things that's going on in my mind. you know, and I don't want people to think that it's always going to be good. Like, not that it's really good right now, but I think it's, as a Southerner say, I think it's finna to get worse. And it may happen over a period of time, or it could happen overnight. Like, oh snap, what just happened? So don't get over leveraged. Do what you can do to get your equipment paid off as fast as you can, and then we'll see you on the next one.